Sindra was 18 when Leonard first really looked at her. Not the polite glance of a supervisor, not the passing acknowledgement of a co-worker. This look lingered. Leonard had a way of making people feel chosen, even when they weren't. He stood tall, dreadlocks pulled back most days, voice calm and steady. Married, everyone knew that, including Sindra. But knowing something doesn't always stop the heart from reacting. Leonard. You don't talk much. Sindra. I'm still learning. Leonard, smiling. That's not a weakness. She held on to that sentence longer than she should have. At lunch, she watched him from across the room. At meetings, she felt his eyes before she ever saw them. And slowly, dangerously, she began to hope. Their first dinner wasn't meant to mean anything. That's what Leonard said. Leonard, it's just food. We can talk freely. Sindra, if this is wrong, we should stop. Leonard, then why don't you want to? The kiss happened outside her car. Quick, soft, unplanned. And the moment it ended, Sindra knew she would never feel safe again. That kiss didn't make her happy. It made her afraid of how much she wanted more. Once the line was crossed, it stopped being simple. Sindra needed reassurance. Leonard offered excuses. They argued in whispers behind closed office doors. Sindra, do you feel something for me? Leonard, you're overthinking. Sindra, that's not an answer. Leonard, I told you, I care. Care. A word vague enough to mean nothing and everything. Leonard still went home to his wife, still wore his ring, still asked Sindra to trust him. And trust became her full-time job. Jenny saw it before Sindra did. Jenny, you're shrinking. Sindra, you don't understand. Jenny, I understand too well. Jenny spoke from experience, from scars. Jenny, Leonard isn't confused, he's comfortable. Sindra, he says I matter. Jenny, then why does he still choose her? Sindra had no answer, only tears. Love shouldn't make you feel invisible, but Sindra was learning that too late. Then came the new supervisor, a woman Leonard laughed too easily with, travelled too often with. And Sindra finally understood jealousy doesn't need proof, only fear. Sindra, are you sleeping with her? Leonard, you're crossing a line. Sindra, so did you. That was the first time he went silent. The silence told her everything. There were moments, quiet moments, when Sindra tried to leave. Not dramatically, not loudly. She would sit alone at night, staring out of her window, rehearsing the words she planned to say. This isn't healthy. I can't do this anymore. I deserve more. And sometimes, she said them. Sindra, I can't keep doing this, Leonard. Leonard, what do you mean? Sindra, I'm always second. I'm always waiting. That's when Leonard would change, not permanently, just enough. Leonard, I don't want to lose you. Sindra, then choose me. Leonard, soft. Just give me time. Time. The word that kept her suspended. Leonard would find ways to pull her back. Longer lunches, late night calls, unexpected touches in empty hallways. Moments that felt like proof. For a while, Sindra felt wanted again, seen again, loved again. Leonard would look at her the way he used to. Leonard, you matter to me. Sindra whispered. Then why does it hurt so much? He never answered that question, because the truth was always waiting. No matter how close they became, no matter how deep she fell, Leonard always went home to his wife. Always. He would leave Sindra standing in parking lots, in silence, in hope. And each time he returned, it was with just enough affection to keep her from leaving. The relationship became a cycle. Break away, pull back, promise, disappear. Each time Sindra tried to leave, she fell deeper. What started as choice slowly turned into habit, then dependence, then something she no longer controlled. Why can't I walk away? Why does love feel like this? Leonard wasn't cruel. He was consistent. Consistent in keeping her close, and never letting her go far enough to be free. One night, Sindra understood something devastating. Leonard didn't need to change because she kept staying, and love that survives on crumbs eventually starves. He wasn't choosing her, he was managing her. Sindra didn't leave with a fight. She left with clarity. She stopped answering calls, stopped believing promises, stopped shrinking. Leonard never chased her, and that silence was louder than any confession. Years later, Sindra married a man who didn't hide her, a man who chose her openly, loved her loudly. She had 2 beautiful children, a real life. And sometimes she thought about Leonard, not with pain, but understanding. That wasn't love, it was preparation. There was a time when she thought love meant waiting for calls, waiting for promises to turn real, waiting for someone to choose her when they were never free to. She doesn't blame herself anymore. She understands now that wanting someone doesn't make them yours, and being needed doesn't mean being loved. Leonard was a chapter, not a destination. He taught her how easy it is to mistake attention for affection, and how dangerous it is to stay where you are only tolerated. What she learned cost her time, cost her innocence, but it gave her clarity. Real love doesn't hide, it doesn't bargain, it doesn't return only when it's afraid to lose you. She stopped asking why he couldn't choose her, and started asking why she accepted so little. And that's when everything changed. She didn't lose him, she found herself. Some stories don't end with apologies, they end with understanding. And that was enough.